think I gotta slow down. I gotta do this properly. Welcome back to the channel, guys. Starting off the week, it's actually Tuesday. Yesterday was just a bunch of organizing and practicing TIG welding, which I'm really happy to say I was more successful than last time. And this week we're starting the sheet metal. We're starting to do the floors and hopefully get the driver's side at least done, straighten out the floor support and some of the dents that are up there. Might cut out the dash, I'm still deciding on that, but off camera, been working on the rusted wheel arches. As you saw in the one clip from the last episode, I got this one here done. Still trying to decide if I'm going to attempt to TIG that because I really don't want to blow it out, but I just have to do some finish work on it. Nothing too crazy, but it's done. Main part's done for now. I had to restructure that whole inner tub all the way up to there, and had a bunch of blowouts and stuff, learned some stuff, and it turned out pretty decent. So going to the other side, I didn't film while I was in here because this is all of like 2 feet, and I don't feel like dangling a camera and you guys looking at my butt. But so this is the piece I got for this side. I've already rebuilt the inner tub because it was completely rotted on the flange. And then this is the piece that I cut to fill in the body. And I actually TIG welded this seam here and was successful. It's, you know, it doesn't look great, but it's all sealed up and it's solid. So I'm happy about that. What I did is I cut in this strip here, the lip of the wheel arch, and then I just scribed this one and kind of bent it to shape. My lav mic died, so so yeah, like I was saying, I'm gonna tack here, like all the way up to here. I'll basically start at the bottom and probably do like 3 or 4 zaps, and then once I get to here, I'm going to have to press this last little lip in to match this contour. So I'll tack here, I'll tack here, and then we'll press this in and zap it, and then it'll take the shape of the quarter panel, because I just can't quite get the right twist and then bend to match everything here. So that'll just be the easiest way. It's not quite gonna match the flare on the wheel arch, but I mean, I don't really care. Honestly, it's just gonna have a skim coat over it and probably primer and maybe some green paint if we're lucky, if we have time. But basically, I just want to get it solid and protected so that it's not rotting out more, and we don't have chunks of fiberglass and stuff that was on here falling off. So pretty happy about that. Gonna throw the lav mic on the charger, but I'm also gonna get this thing burnt in. Ignore that one, that was a bit of a mess up, but you can see the fit is pretty decent all the way up. And then that worked out. I don't know why it's not focusing. This one worked out perfectly. I was able to just plenish it into place for that corner because it's a really weird corner. But now that it got these two, it held it in place. So now I can just tack it here and I can fill that all in. So good to go. But I'm stoked on that. All right, getting the pedal assembly out, firewall area here, and just realized that there's actually no floor skin here. This is the top of the torque box. And then what was hidden behind the window washer pump was all of that, which is really not good. There is that shiny that is metal. It has been patched, but this is all rotten. You can see the spot welds where they plug welded it in there. I tried to at least, but that's just all rotten to shit. I did not see that before. This corner has been buckled pretty bad, like I saw in that first teardown episode. But so now I can't actually do the driver's floor until I patch this whole bottom section, because on top of that I have to take this off, like take all this sheet metal off, which I've only got the floor pan goes to here, so I need to make or find something to patch the rest. And then, you know, the top of the torque box doesn't look amazing. It's solid, and then, you know, what's been leaking into the floor support, who knows. So definitely a little bit more archaeology to do. At the very least I will cut the floor out, but I'm also gonna have to get at all of that. So probably I'm gonna have to cut out the dash, which I didn't really want to do, but it's looking like that's gonna be the move, unfortunately. So just gonna clear out the pedal assembly, take the brake pedal out, get the e-brake off, get the gas pedal out. It's just chilling on the Z-bar there. And probably the wiper linkage too, I don't know. It's all gotta come out. That side's, that's just all seam sealer and undercoat, so that's just gonna be a cleanup. But this, trashed. Kinda disappointed I didn't find that out sooner. I haven't really looked in here since I started on the bodywork, so. Oopsies. All right, so I've got vacuumed everything up. I got the brake pedal out. You could tell the incompetence of the guys that put it back together at some point, because the bolt for the brake pedal was in the wrong way, so when you try and pull it out, it hits the fresh air intake for the cowl and you have no way of getting out. So I had to cut the head off the bolt and then pushed it through with my pick, got the brake pedal out, put it over there because I'm not going to work over there for a little bit. But so I got to start tearing into this, and realistically I think I got to start from probably that corner on the outside, which would be, so I think that's going to be this whole area. You can kind of see where they worked in that patch right here. You can see all their booger welds there and down here, and then it looks like they tried to just seam seal all this to seal it up. You can actually see some of the goop on the inside corner, and then in here. So I think the plan of attack, honestly, is going to be to cut this patch and start working it from there. All right, now we're moving on to hogging out the spot welds on the seams of the seat riser. So make a whole bunch of noise, basically. Hogging out the spot welds. I'm just using this guy.
and drop her in and tack it up. Gone as far as I'm gonna go for today anyway, but majority of the driver's side floor is cut out. Floor support looks pretty good. Cross member for the trans looks all right. The torque box, although the top part is kind of scaly, it's actually pretty good. So structurally, we're in good shape. Just a matter of cutting to the point where I want to lap over with the new floor pan, and then start drilling holes and spot welding it in place. We're just going to plug weld it, and then possibly get in here with the TIG and try and fill the seam so I don't have to use a shitload of seam sealer, which I'm trying to avoid. But I have to figure out, so I have to cut this part down and then this part up to match the floor panel patch, because it has like a little detent in it, but the tunnel's good there, so I don't have to worry about that. We got good metal up here, good metal at the top of the floor support there. It's just right here where it was in this corner where covered by the carpet starts to rot away right there. So I'm probably gonna cut straight up here on the firewall to that, just to the left of the column outlet. And I'll go in here and then straight up where that rust is there, and we'll have to cut in on the outside and get all that out of there, and then work in that corner and figure something out in there. But all in all, good progress. Just gotta keep hacking away at it, and then start putting stuff back. But I'm gonna clean up, do a couple more measurements, and mark some more stuff out. Come back in a little bit. Okay, another day. Let's bust out the grinding wheels and keep on cutting. I'm hoping to have this whole section kind of clearance. Time to get to work. '68 Fender Stratocaster. Wow, wow. I think I gotta cut these old school window regulators and skins out. That's way too heavy. Way too heavy. All right. Well, basically, start cutting. Well, basically I'm gonna try and cut this whole patch out, see what's underneath. I'm actually gonna scrape some of this junk off first, because I don't wanna breathe that in. All right, so where she got the old crunch, obviously was right in here. And so this is some really weird. This is almost like a 20 or 21 or 22 gauge metal. You can see the booger welds. They're actually a little bit worse than mine. Not gonna lie, that makes me feel better about what I did on the wheel arches there. Anyway, so they basically just tried to goop some shit over and seam seal everything. This here's the factory spot welded panel. And so what looks like happened is
this all got crunched in, so they cut it wherever it bent, or they just lapped over this and zapped it. And obviously you can see where there's been rust on the inside of this, so we're going to try and hammer that out too, and well, we'll just try and straighten it up as much as we can and clean up everything. This is going to be a lot of grinding and cleaning, so we'll skip over that part and come back when I'm cutting out that stuff. All right, here's where we're at with the tripod, Andrew. Don't put your tripod in your shot, Andrew. Cut this open, and the fender apron is, or sorry, the apron here is, you know, pretty pinched, and this is all out of whack, which this part is not structural. This is literally just, you know, it's not solid. It's just literally to close up the cabin. The structural part is the frame rail to the torque box out to the unibody, so it's all underneath. Now looking in here, I was worried that this part of the torque box was like pinched with the, that's why it had to crease, but that's not the case. That's proper. That's the factory like lift for the footrest and everything, and the washer bottle and the, the high beam switch. Anyway, you can see there where it's been shoved in. This lip here, that's the top of the torque box, and so it's been pushed in, and that's kind of where it's been creased. But I think that's salvageable, and like I said, the top of the torque box is scaly, but it's really solid, so I think I can clean that up and POR it, and it should be fine. What I'm actually going to do is I'm going to go a little bit farther, and we're going to remove this panel here. All right, more fun updates. So, as you can see, starting here, we have more rust, and more rust. Luckily the firewall is good, and the rest of the cowl, except for the other side fresh air vent, is also a bit rusty. But the rest of the cowl, like actually up in here, is fine because the water doesn't sit in this part of the cowl, it sits down in this corner. And this exit was all clogged, which is why water sat in here and ate away at the fresh air vent, also causing that leak in there. All caused by this thing getting hammered in this corner, pushing all this in, pushing this corner in, breaking all these seams, and then, you know, dirt and stuff gets caught in here. They goop seam sealer in here, which blocked it off, and it just caused a big problem. That's my archaeology for the day. So yeah, getting into the floor kind of escalated really quick. I'm now looking at possibly cutting the top of the cowl off. I'm gonna probably start cutting all these spot welds out of the windshield, and then maybe cut, well, I'll probably take it out to here. I'll leave the fender aprons alone, and I'll probably cut along this seam so that I can get a new one, or just make a flange that I can lap it back over and weld it back to, or something like that. Something of that nature, because I honestly think that I'm gonna open this up and repair both vents, or close them up and just not have fresh air vents into the cabin. It's time to get real about this. If you're on my Instagram, you might have already seen this, but looking at the amount of work that this is going to take now that I've opened it up, I could have left it. I could have left it alone, just thrown some rust reformer and paint over it and called it good. I can't do that. The car is like leaning me towards and telling me that it needs more time, and that I should really just make it proper. And I'm thinking that's what I'm going to do. I hate to pull the plug on a goal. Not really pulling the plug on it. I'm more just kind of pushing it back. Like maybe we do this for Overcrest in the fall, or something in the summertime, like later in the summer. But as of right now, if I continue to work on it and put in like full days, full nights, I'm probably looking at July, because this has to all be corrected. I can't leave it. Which sucks to say, but I mean, I've got 4 other cars. It's not like I'm hard up for a ride across the country. I've got air water coming up in a week. I've got Overcrest in May, and that's going to cut into the timeline for this. But it's all going to be awesome. And like, do I really need to rush because I'm worried about having an old car on power tour? Not really. You know, the verdict is the veteran. It's the car that I take to power. It's the thing. I hate doing the same thing over and over again, but I mean, look at it. Why not? So that's kind of where I'm at right now. It's sort of a big crossroads, big decision day. You know, do I keep cutting and extend the timeline and move the goalpost kind of thing? I'm thinking that's probably going to be the best bet for this car. So for now, I'm going to clean up in here. I got to go do some emails and meet up with my wife, and then tonight we're pulling the fried egg in, and we're going to start working on it for air water. We're going to throw in a bump steer kit and some lower control arms, maybe. Going to replace one of the fender liners, and then figure out why the fog lights are not functioning. Got a few other things to do to it. I'm actually taking it over to Porsche tomorrow, where we're going to do 4 new tires. I'm going to switch to Michelin's on it. Probably going to fix up the alignment, because the alignment's a little bit out on the back. I know it's nailed on the front, but we're going to change some things. Throwing new arms on and bump steer kit is going to change that as well. So we're going to dial all that in. Next week I've got a Renline short shifter coming for it, because the GT3 shifter that it's in is pretty sloppy. So I want to change that out. And yeah, just a couple select little things to change before me and my buddy Steven hit the road next Wednesday, literally a week from today. We're going to Costa Mesa for Lefka Cult Air Water. So anyway, cleaning up in here. I'll see you back here tonight where we're working on the 911.
All right, time to start the next little project here. And that's getting the 911 ready for the trip down to Costa Mesa for Air Water, which is a kind of a Porsche car show, a celebration really of air-cooled and water-cooled Porsches of all kinds. It stems from Lefka Cult, which is an air-cooled celebration, which I attended last year. I'll link the video right here. First, I'm going to jack it up, and then I'm going to pull the front bumper off, and we're going to get to work. So I'm also going to charge this thing because it's going to die. I have had hundreds of questions and messages and comments about how do you mount your fog lights on your 996. Here you go. So what I've done, because this car is not a center radiator, do not do this if you have a center radiator on your 996. So what I've done is I've taken the mounts where the center radiator would go to, and I have nut and bolted a frame that I've made out of stainless steel, triangulated down to the bottom mount here, and then with these outriggers that poke through these little holes that I very crudely cut out of the lower valence. That's it. I've run the wiring through this little grommet here, in behind the carpeting all the way up and into the battery compartment, where I've got it jumped off the battery with a relay to the switch so that I don't blow fuses, except for when I lose a ground, which I'm pretty sure I've done somewhere in this vicinity. So I'm gonna probably have to rip apart this wiring and see where I can see a fault or something let go. I'm guessing it's gonna be where I squeeze the shit out of it with a zip tie, or it's gonna be this grounding wire here. All right, figured out the fog light situation. There's this guy. Thought it was good. Didn't even test it, but I had another 5-pin relay that I was putting in there that was blowing the 30 amp fuse, and then I would put the one that came with the wiring kit I bought, this one, I put that one in and nothing would happen at all. It wouldn't blow the fuse, lights wouldn't turn on or nothing. So then I jumped the power wire on the circuit, lights came on, so I know the lights are good, I know the connections to the lights are good, so it's got to be that relay. I'm quickly going to smash out throwing these tie rods in from Renline. These are a bump steer correcting tie rod, and you know, it's a nice Heim jointed tie rod, so hopefully it'll give us a little bit better steering feel, as well as take away the herky-jerky going over bumps. I'm gonna pop that in. Okay, so I think I got the length pretty much where I want it. Okay, I'm gonna tighten that up. We'll go to the other side and do it. But I'm not gonna show you because I gotta do it quick, because I gotta get some sleep. I gotta be up in the morning with the kid, and well, I don't wanna miss that. So I will catch you guys back here tomorrow, where we're gonna throw this back on the ground, give it a quick toe alignment, and we're going out to Porsche Langley to do a little bit more work. So see you then. Welcome back. All right. Went out to Lordco this morning and grabbed a relay and plugged it in. We are good to go. Aside from the pins on these plugs, I guess kind of corroded a little bit and wore out because I keep wanting to push out, so I'm actually going to replace these plugs on the end of the harness here on both sides. I'll just crimp those on really quick, but fog lights are good, so I'm going to start putting this all back together, cinch everything up. Got the Renline arms tightened up last night, marked of course wrench sizes on it because that's a pain in the ass every time you're under the car. Now, because for once I'm actually ahead of schedule, I think I'm going to throw the front lower control arms in, maybe the rear ones if I get time. But for now, I'm going to button up the front end, clean up some stuff in there because there's, you know, all sorts of just junk left over that I want to get cleaned up a bit, and then yeah, slap everything back on there and we're good to go. And I know what you're thinking, oh, he's quitting on the Mustang, he's not working on it today, and blah, blah, blah. Nope, I literally am leaving in less than a week for California in this, so getting started now is probably the smart thing. I worked on it last night after working on this all day. Also ordered parts for this yesterday after hours, so we got some new sheet metal coming for it, which is good. And once that shows up, we'll continue. Let's go.
Okay, I just realized I had no audio for pretty much the entire morning. So anyway, got the control arm out. This is the stock 996 front lower control arm. It bolts into the car like that. You have a bolt here, lateral link comes in and clamps onto that. And then you of course have your ball joint here. Comparing to this 997 GT3 arm, you can see that the lateral link mount is a little bit different. This one has sort of you can have an adjustment of where you put the bolt, and that'll actually change your caster. And then on this end, you've actually got shims between the inner mount and the arm itself, which are you can take out what you want. It's got 2 bolts in there. You take those out, and you can remove or add shims to bring out your camber, adjusting it on the bottom. And so what I'm aiming for with this actually is because this arm is physically longer. So if we both there, so we're going to be a little bit longer, and what I'm aiming for is to actually bring out my track width more and not have a super aggressive camber. I don't want like crazy aggressive camber on this. It is still a street car, but I do want to bring out that track width and then bring out the top camber so that we have like, you know, we're basically taking the wheel. If it sits like this right now, we're kind of just doing this instead of just doing this. So that's what I'm shooting for. If it's too crazy, too aggressive, we can always take out a shim, which you can do on car, which is cool. And if not, if it's, you know, if it's going to be too nuts, even with the shim out, then you can just put the old ones back in or just get new ones or a different one. There's all kinds of aftermarket for these. But a good buddy, Rob, he was like, hey, I got some 997 lower control arms, GT3 arms. I was like, yeah, let's do it. So there we go. Throw them in. You ever get that weird feeling that something can just go wrong at any minute while you're driving a car? Well, I came pretty close to absolute death, I guess. This guy's been flopping around for who knows how long. So that's not good. And of course this one was seized, so I beat the ever-living shit out of it. All right, looks like a bomb went off in the shop, but back on the ground. Arms are in, everything's torqued up except that one wheel because I had to raise it up again. So I'm gonna tighten that up, and then we're going to Porsche Center Langley. Do a little bit of tires, alignment, maybe some rear trailing arms. I can't remember what else. Let's go. Oh, smoke. Alignment's jacked. Instantly just messed up. Going over the manholes, bump steer's a little bit improved, not as bad. Still wants to track a little bit, but that's also the alignment's screwed right now, so. All right, see you guys down at Porsche Langley. Hello. What do you think of the new meats?
Not bad, not bad. It's meaty.
Now I'm unmonetized.
Oh, sorry. Oh, is that one of
Take
the
two.
things?
Anders, thoughts on the Michelins?
They look meaty, real meaty.
That's a good fit.
Everybody's got fast cars.
I cannot do anything. Anyway, time for an alignment.
Can we?
This should be pink and up here, but it's clear and down there.
She looks thirsty.
But Anders, there's water.
Who's Max? It's got air in there. Okay, that's why it's clear. It's just air, because it's air cooled.
Right, it's an air-cooled 996.
Ooh.
Bad.
All right. Oh, there we go. Oh, that felt great. Woo. Straight-ish.
It's not even.
It is. Look at zero.
One's red, one's green.
No,
man.
this is what matters. That it's
The steer ahead. I know.
Straight as a
dead straight.
dead straight.
Straight as Chris. That's pretty straight.
You want to retry?
All right, 911's pretty well done. Thank you, sir. Time for food
I hope so.
and drive. We drive this.
First drive.
Have to drive it. New Michelin's, alignment, control arms, everything done. Steven and I are gonna hit the road next week. But I gotta clean this thing first, so let's go do that.
I know a lot of you are here to see me build a 68 Mustang. I'd be lying if I told you that's the only focus of my channel. I know I've changed the plan, and some of you will be disappointed that I won't be taking Felony on Power Tour. But the car is telling me to take more time and do everything properly. And sometimes you just have to listen. Even if it's an inanimate object, giving you crazy ideas in the middle of the night when you're sleep deprived, hungry, your knuckles are bashed to bits and you're just wanting to go to sleep. You still gotta listen. It's gonna take a little more time, a little more effort, some more ideas, but I'm still gonna get it done. It'll be on the road this summer, and it will be a Power Tour next year. For now, I'm gonna take the 996 to Air Water, I'm gonna take the GC8 to Overcrest, probably take the Verdict to Power Tour. But the whole time, I'm gonna have fun. I'm gonna bring you guys along. So until then, be kind, drive hard, and as always, I'll see you on the road.